Train your body with the American College of Sports Medicine on Radio MD. RadioMD.com. Here's Melanie Cole.
When you look around your gym, do you feel that it's a safe place to be if you're working out? Is it safe? And I'm talking safety in many ways. I'm talking safety as far as equipment and the upkeep of the equipment. I'm talking safety as far as the health aspects of the locker room and the areas kept clean so that you're not getting icky foot funguses. And I'm also talking safety. Do you feel safe in there, or are you getting leered at by creepy guys, or are there other people? And of course, my guests today are Grace Desimone and Neal Pire. Welcome to the show, guys. So, Grace, I'm starting with you because that part about the leering people. When you're at a gym, and you are a very pretty lady, have you, with an awesome rockin' body, so do you ever feel unsafe in your own space when you're working out or teaching classes?
Typically not. I mean, I have to dig way back, Melanie, into my past, because I think as you get older, you get wiser, right? So probably in the early days of my gym going, I probably had times where I was looking over my shoulder and, being careful going back to my car and wondering if I had a stalker here or there. So I guess the answer in short would be a yes. In the past I have. Currently, no.
And is there anything that you would like to recommend people do at their gym? Because when I was running, it was quite a large gym, and I'm closing up at night, there'd be a few guys that would hang around, and unless I found them cute and wanted to date them, I would be a little bit creeped out about it. And there was nobody I could go to because I was the director. So what do you advise a woman to do if she tattles on some guy that's maybe just following her around, pulling a Seinfeldy thing or one of those? What do you advise her to do?
Well, if in your case, my first thing was going to be, just maybe to alert, like, oh, who's that? Ask staff, like, who is that guy? Or, he always seems to be around when I'm here, just to ask, like, oh, he's giving me the creeps, but not to complain, just to get information. And of course, if you're feeling uncomfortable in a public situation, it's always good to let someone know. Just being, I realize sometimes you might get people in trouble, and
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? What are you going to do? I'd rather get somebody in trouble than, find myself at the other end of that equation. And sometimes if you're by yourself or it's toward the end of the night, have somebody meet you. Pick me up. Have a friend meet you so you're not always by yourself leaving the gym with, all the guys in your particular case. But I personally feel like if you position it correctly and you go to someone in management just to ask, I'm getting this funny feeling, and they will typically not overreact, and they'll keep an eye and, let you know what's going on.
So it's really all about safety. Now, Neal, I'm going to you for physical safety here about the equipment. If we're looking at all the different Cybex and old Nautilus equipment and ellipticals and Stairmasters and things, when you get on them, especially those old Stairmasters, the ones where the stair actually rotates, if it would jump or skip a little or something, you can get really hurt. How do you know this equipment is upkept at your gym? And how do you know that this stuff is good to use? How can you tell if you're the average consumer?
Well, the truth is that you really can't tell for sure what the maintenance schedule on this equipment is. You sort of have to trust the people that you're with at the gym, whether it's the trainers or the managers, whoever it is that's they're responsible for the upkeep, which leads me to the first. I'm going to give you 3 tips. The first tip isn't just the elliptical or the old Stairmaster, but treadmills in general. I think this is probably the most common thing I must see one person in a busy gym every week. You have to make sure the belt is off and not moving before you get on or off the treadmill. I can't tell you how many people I've seen just, go head over heels because they tried getting off the treadmill and they stepped on the belt and they slipped. And if there's, oftentimes the treadmills are close to the wall and there's not enough space to walk behind them so you can mount them properly, a lot of times you'll get stuck in that little hole, and there's nothing worse than a treadmill belt burn. that you're laying on the treadmill while the thing is still going, and it's just eating away at your shins or your knees or whatever it is that you're laying on the treadmill on. So that's one thing. You always make sure the belt is off when you get on or get off the treadmill. Something else I see very often is people just don't bother using collars on barbells, regardless of how heavy or how light.
I hate that.
All you need is somebody inadvertently, without meaning, just walk by and, sort of bump the bar, the end of the bar, while you're doing a bench press or something, and you'll lose control. So the collars are actually very important to use, just methodically, always using them. And my number 3 tip, pulling exercises usually require either a cable or tubing of some sort, and they're very popular exercises. You have to check and make sure the cables are not frayed over time. The plastic, the vinyl that covers the cables, that breaks, and that gets stuck in the pulleys, and the cables themselves will start wearing. And tubing wears on a rate pretty quickly, actually, if it gets a lot of use. You want to make sure that the tubing isn't wearing, because that'll pop and it'll either hit you or somebody next to you, and it can be nasty as well.
Or the trainer that's holding the tubing so that you can pull for a nice little row. I've had it snap in my face about 20,000 times in the last 25 years of training. Now, Grace, I mentioned also the locker rooms. When you are looking at a gym and you want to know that it's, safety conscious, and you're looking at what Neal just said, when you go into the locker rooms, how do you know if that hot tub is kept clean? How do you know that the shower floors are not disgusting? What do you look for? We only have a couple minutes left.
You look with your nose.
I was just going to say follow your nose.
Follow your nose, absolutely. So that's number 1. You will smell a clean locker room or an unclean locker room, period, the end. You'll smell the mildew, open the showers, look in the showers, and, you see what you see. Same thing with the steam room. I mean, go in with a good eye. Rust is not a good sign. Foam is not a good sign. Foam on any kind of water surface, in your whirlpool, in the swimming pool, not a happy day at the gym. So those are things that you can certainly look for.
Okay, and do you mention them as you're going through, or you like people just to go ahead and wear sandals in the shower and do all of those things?
Well, you can also see by who's there. You go in a locker room, you see and smell a lot of things. Let's face it. You can tell what's happening. If people are stepping on a towel, sitting on a bench with a towel on it, or, if they're bare butt sitting on the bench, and then you're going to be sitting on that bench next. Just think about all of those things. You can watch and you can see what the environment is like and what the people are like. And if you feel comfortable in that environment based on who's using it, if everybody does have on slippers, if everything smells like super clean, if you see a person that's a locker room attendant in there cleaning while you're there during the tour, that's a question that you can ask. But regardless of what the questions are that you ask, the individual that's doing the tour doesn't always have to tell you everything that they do. So that's why you follow your nose. Always try before you buy, so you can get in there. Make sure you do wear your shower slippers, and put a towel down on the bench before you sit there. But try it out and see how it feels and smells. And quite honestly, anything that does not smell clean is not clean.
So, Neal, you've got about 20 seconds. Wrap this up for us.
Be aware of your surroundings. Check cables. Check padding. A lot of older, cheaper, quote-unquote, equipment that has upholstery doesn't have the good Naugahyde quality upholstery, and they have vinyl. All you need is a crack in it, and that might cut your leg as you're sitting on the bench, and that can lead to nasty infections and all that kind of stuff. So always beware.
Always beware. Check it out. Look with your nose, as they say. And these are important things to remember when you're talking about the safety of your gym. Stay tuned. We have more great show coming up. This is Melanie Cole. Stay well.